And when they changed the rules, those signs like went away.
Oh, that's weird.
And so it was interesting trying to go through all my hundreds of videos trying to, figure out which ones were like that. But kind of feel your shoulder blade. And I'm not just pushing on muscle, but trying to push your shoulder blade down this way, right? Pushing here.
When I drive, I almost exclusively use this arm.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did that road trip where I was driving. I did a couple 14-hour days.
Yeah.
So I feel like that kind of fucked it up. Also made it worse.
Imagine how traveling by like horse and wagon back in the day, how like how messed up their bodies were.
Wagons must have been the worst. Whew.
We'll come back to it,
But it's been nice. I've been getting back on my bicycle, swimming more. All that feels good.
because I'm not just pushing on the rotator cuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm pushing on the shoulder blade, the whole everything, right? Just and what I'm doing is I'm pushing on the shoulder blade on this side, so the shoulder blade's gonna kind of stretch and pull everything this way, right? So all the tissues that attach to it, and if I kind of push it here, it doesn't move really far, and if by pushing on it in this spot here, I can get it to kind of do a rotation too, right? It's kind of stretching out your levator, right? And the traps. But also the pec minor, maybe in the front, you might feel a little bit in the front.
Definitely, yeah.
You kind of think of like the serratus anterior, what it does.
Ooh.
There we go.
I always forget which one of my collarbones is broken. This is the broken collarbone.
That is the rope, yeah.
Yeah, which also makes sense.
Was it bothering that a little bit?
I could feel it pulling on it, but it didn't
Pulling on
hurt.
it? Yeah.
I always liked my collarbones. I was just so sad when I broke it. Like, oh.
Really?
Yeah, I was like vain about certain things. Like I was always vain about my hands, and then I broke I broke my wrist and like permanently jammed my finger.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing happened with my collarbone, and I was like, well, I guess that's what comes with vanity here. So.
I broke my collarbone when I was really young. I don't remember it.
I was an adult. I gotta tell you, it sucks.
My mom said she picked me up and my shoulder went boom up to my ear.
Oh my god. How did you break it though?
I guess I was like running around a pool, above ground pool, like chasing someone or getting chased, and I tripped and like fell forward on it, and then she's very talkative. a few days ago I came pulling into the parking lot off the road, and I looked up in the road, and there was this dude like running across the street, and there was something laying in the street, like something in the street, and he like picked it up and like ran into the apartment building right there, and I was like, no, because it was like black and white, this black and white thing that I could kind of see, and then I came around, and he came through the back side of the apartment with his cat. He just got ran over right in front of him. His cat got out and went across the street into the woods, and he went to go get it to chase it back. But when he chased it back, the cat ran back to the apartments and then got hit right in front of him. And he was just carrying it all bloody in his hands, limp, and
Oh, poor baby.
yeah,
Both of them.
yeah, he was this older guy, and like, and I was the only one who saw it, you know, so I came driving around, and I like stopped, and he just collapsed on the ground.
Was the kitty dead?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awful.
He's 15 years old. Who was he?
That's a good age for a cat, though. That's not a baby cat.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, it didn't look super old. You know, it wasn't like gray. It looked really healthy, like for the most part. I mean, from what I could, you know, what I could see. It wasn't like it was so.
I don't feel like cats get the ghost face in the same way that dogs do.
No.
Really, kitty?
What are you doing, bro?
Do you love me? I love you too. Sorry?
What are you doing? It's like another girl, finally. Geez.
Oh, God.
There we go.
Whew. Whew.
feel like they may have stopped growing. I'm not sure though.
The kitties?
Yeah.
They're pretty petite.
Are they still?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean they haven't stopped growing. You know, some kitties just stay kind of little. I just have like massive cats. They're like 20 pounds.
I would be very pleased if they didn't get much bigger than they are now.
Yeah. How old are they?
December 5th was their birthday. So December, January, February, March, April, May, June. 6 months now? 7 months?
I actually don't know enough about cats to know when they stop growing.
So then we got the spine of the scapula right there. The rotator cuff right in that pocket right there. I don't want to get. I don't want to.
Were you always interested in anatomy?
No, not until like 2012. I went to school for personal training. That was 13 years ago. Before that, I got into the gym. Before that, I was never really into the gym that much when I growing up. Like I'd like to do push-ups and skateboard, you know, and like that kind of stuff. Like that's who I kind of was, and like a tall, skinny, athletic kid, you know. I could run and jump. And then I joined the Navy, and that's when I started getting into lifting in the gym.
Why'd you join the Navy?
Well, in high school, I dropped out my senior year, and Dad told me I was getting kicked out a lot, you know, a few times, and then I went back to my dad's house, and he said that either I join the Navy or I get out. So I went to go try and join the Navy, but since I didn't have my diploma, I couldn't join. So then I had to go to summer school the next year, and I got my diploma. And then I went and signed up, you know. And during that time, I waited probably, I don't know, a long time to go before I shipped out. And in that time, I was really having a lot of fun snowboarding, and I got really good at it, and I was doing competitions and stuff, and just like really starting to feel confident in myself. And that's kind of what I changed my mind. Man, I want to do, you know, I want to stay home, and I want to
Be an athlete.
be an athlete, you know. And so I called my recruiter and I told him, he was like, yeah, I'm not going to go anymore. And I think it was either later that day, I think it was maybe that afternoon, that I showed up to my dad's house, and every recruiter from the recruiter station was there. There was 3 of them, and there was like 10 of my family members at my house, and they all basically forced me to go into the Navy. And I was like crying, and I was like, I don't want to go, I don't want to do this, like I want to stay home, I don't want to leave, like I want to stay here, and they thought, they're like, you're gonna end up dead in jail or in a gang. And like, bro, I live in fucking Columbus Township. There's no gangs here, bro. Like don't get me wrong, I'm very, very thankful for it, you know, and where I'm at right now. but it just taught me a lot, you know, and it was, you know, right now how I'm feeling is I'm feeling like I did before that, right? Like Kevin, you know, like that, following my dreams, kind of doing Kevin stuff, you know. I don't have to be approved by anyone anymore, because when I joined the Navy, everyone was treating me with a lot of respect and loving me. Before that, everyone was just fucking hating me and making me feel shit about who I was, you know, skater boy, you know, whatever, you know, punk, you know, just like did not support me whatsoever. And I didn't even realize it then because I was too young to see what was happening, you know. And then I joined the Navy and everyone was all like, oh, we're so proud of you, blah, 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 stuff, you know. And then I get out.
Did you like the Navy at all?
Yeah, there was things I loved. I loved the Navy. There was a lot of things I loved about it, you know, like, I just had a really hard time being away from home. I didn't really have, like, people out there, and I got hurt, you know, I had some injuries that changed my path. Because when I joined the Navy, it got to the point where I wanted to somehow figure out how to try out for the football team, the Navy football team. So I was very good, gifted athleticism, you know, and I went on one deployment and I came back and I had a couple of injuries that basically ruined that for me. And I started drinking a lot and went into a really bad depression, and you know, it was really bad, you know. I lived in San Diego for a few years. That was a beautiful place. You know, I met a lot of good people.
This is a lot.
Yeah.
Whew. I've heard some good things about San Diego.
Yeah, you know, back then, I mean, what was it, 2010? You know, 15 years ago, maybe, I don't know what, I mean, if it's the same now, but I mean, back then it was fun, you know. And I got to see the world. I did one full circle all the way around the world. You know, I started in California, flew across the United States to the East Coast, and then took a plane from the East Coast to Africa. And then I hooked up with this ship in Africa after I went through a couple of countries there, Somalia, Djibouti, and Ethiopia. And then from the Gulf of Aden, we sailed from there east to Thailand, and then from Thailand to the Philippines, and then Philippines, or was it Hong Kong? So Thailand, and then maybe Hong Kong, and then the Philippines, and then Hawaii, and then from Hawaii back to California.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to go to Thailand.
Yeah, Thailand was a pretty cool experience. It's a beautiful place, you know, like, it's like, very traditional, you know, not very modern, you know, like statues, like golden statues all over the place, and like just, you know, like almost like the Asian movies you see, like it's just like this, I don't know, it was cool. Like I remember there was a truck, I think we were in Bangkok, I think that's where we were, maybe. That's the city. But there was this pickup truck that would drive around with Muay Thai fighters in the back of it, like sparring, promoting the Muay Thai fights, you know. And so it was like this little S10, you know, this raggedy S10 with kind of like a cage around it that the fighters were like, it was like a parade, you know, and they were like, had a loudspeaker. And there's a lot of crazy shit that goes on in Thailand that don't go on here, so.
This is awful. Whew. I mean, it feels awful, but it also feels necessary.
Yep.
I did Muay Thai for a while. It's one of the reasons I always wanted to go.
Yeah, Muay Thai is awesome, isn't it?
I fucking loved it so much.
I love it too.
Dude, yeah. My friend that I used to train with just moved back to town. And I'm like, we should go and dick around in the park.
Yeah, you were telling me that last time you were here.
Yeah, we actually really do need to do that. Things have just been so busy. I feel like, But I think that's just having teenagers. Dude, there was this day last week where like I got done with work at like 3 and then drove teenagers around until 7 o'clock at night.
Really?
Yeah. His fucking girlfriend lives in goddamn St. Paul.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's like 40 minutes round trip without shitty traffic. Just because it's far enough out and construction and all that shit.
You need a crack?
I might.
Yeah, maybe you do. I feel like you might need it.
It's been bugging me for like a couple months.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was less when I was here last time,
Mm-hmm.
and my knees were really bugging me, so I wanted to focus on them. I've been wearing compression sleeves on my calves, and it's been helping my knees,
Mm-hmm.
which to me doesn't actually make a lot of sense, but I'm not gonna argue with it.
Yeah, when I lived in San Diego in the Navy, I was. Do you know who Jocko is? Jocko Willink? He's like an ex-Navy SEAL, like that kind of. He's like an ex-Navy SEAL that got kind of popular on social media, you know. But he had a gym. He owned a gym before he was popular in San Diego that I used to go and train at, called Throwdown, I think is what it was called. And then I'd go and train Muay Thai there. But I'd do like an hour Muay Thai, an hour of boxing, and then an hour of jiu-jitsu. And I would literally be dripping sweat. I loved it. The next day I could barely walk. I'd be so sore, you know. But the Muay Thai was the one that I kind of stuck with the most. And they had in-house fights one time.
Ooh.
And my friends signed me up for it.
How'd you do?
Well, they signed me up. They put my name on the roster as Mama's boy.
Oh no!
So I showed up and announced, and the coach's name was Yonix Alves, right? And now I learned a little bit about him, but at the moment he set me up with a guy that has done Muay Thai for his whole life. I only had done it for a couple of years. I mean, I've never even been in a street fight, you know, up until that point, you know.
Right.
Like, I'm not much of a fighter. I'm an athlete, you know, but like, so I get in the ring and we start going after it, and he just beat my ass, bro. And I'm like, because I wasn't like fighting back, I guess. And my friends were like, fight back, you know. I'm like, just getting hit on in there, you know. And so then I was like, all right. So I started fighting back. I got long legs, and I started using them. I started kicking them in his side, getting him in some rib shots, and I started hurting him really bad. And I could see he started getting pissed. And he like had this rage in him all of a sudden. He started getting me in the clinch, right? And he grabbed me in the clinch and started kneeing me. Well, he kneed me in the nuts once, right?
Oh no!
So then that put me down, you know. And I got up. I was like, oh, my dick. And I'm like. Even with a cup, it hurts, you know. And then we got back up. We started fighting again. I could get him with my kicks. It was just.
Kicking's the best part of Muay Thai. Well,
yeah, especially
elbows are really good too.
Yeah, elbows are good too. But
fucking love me an elbow. But yeah.
I could keep him at a distance with my kicks, you know. And then he got me in the clinch again, and he did it again. He kneed me in my nuts again for the second time.
Oh, what a dick.
And then I got up after that. We started fighting again, and he did it a third time. And after that I said, I'm done. You know, like, you're about to break my fucking.
Also, you're
pelvis.
obviously doing it on purpose at this point.
Yeah, because
like, one time is just like a miss, you know. Oh, okay, you fucked up. And the third time's like, really, dude, that's just shitty fighting.
Yeah, and then the coach gave the fight to him, you know, but I didn't complain. Because I knew I hurt him bad. I went up in the locker room afterwards, and he was holding his ribs pretty good. So that was the first fight I've ever been in, basically, and like. But we had the headgear on, you know, and the shin pads, and That was about it, and the gloves. But I just love training Muay Thai. You know, I just love practicing it, and like Yannick's the coach would walk around with a bamboo stick, and if you were like during training, if you stopped or like slowed down, he'd come and he'd hit you with it, you know, like in your legs. But he was one of those guys that could kick a baseball bat and break it, you know. He's from Thailand. He's some sort of Asian, you know, descent, something. But I guess he got in trouble for, there's a certain name for it where coaches put someone in the ring who's not very good against someone who's really good, so the audience can see someone get their ass fucking kicked. So,
Oh,
you know,
shit. What a shitty thing.
I forgot the name of it, but there's a certain name for it, and certain coaches will get in trouble for it. You know, they'll get called out for it. And I guess there was something in the media, like social media, after I left after a few years that it's like, maybe that happened to me, you know? Because he put me in the ring with someone who's been doing Muay Thai their whole life, you know?
Expecting you to just get your ass beat.
Yeah, basically, for the show of the gym, you know? Maybe to try and humble me or something, you know? Because I was just like there having fun, kind of, you know? I really wasn't there to like prove anything, or like I was just there just to do it. And I didn't even sign up for it. My friend signed me.
I trained at the Kali group with Rick Faye in Minneapolis.
I don't know who that is.
There's a bunch of the Minnesota Kali groups now out there that have like spun off from him. He's trained with a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And he trained with Dan Inosanto. He used to work with Bruce Lee. It was like his training partner. But that was Jeet Kune Do.
Yeah.
And then, oh god, it was like Master Chai was who he learned Muay Thai from. Because these people would come in and do seminars and shit.